Hello, Giacomo.
Hi, Andy.
Thank you very much for accepting my invitation. Could you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure, happy to. Thanks for this invitation. Great to have a chat with another very experienced digital nomads. That's what I heard. So about myself, I'm Italian. I'm 40. I'm a scientist by training in biotech, and I've been an entrepreneur for the last 10 years with different projects. And I'm currently working on developing this diginomads network, an app which is based on a company called Loungy that connects people based on their professional goals who are part of similar professional communities.
Thank you very much for sharing, Giacomo. Looking forward to hearing your tips during this chat. So let's start with the first question. Why is networking important for digital nomads and remote workers?
I guess it's very simple. It's because you don't want to feel alone. When you move around, I just came back from Sicily and I was, traveling solo and working from there remotely. Something that you don't want to be in is a situation where you go and you're alone, but you still want to share moments and with other people like-minded people like you. And so I think the reason why networking is very important is for really not feeling alone where you're like a solo traveler and remote worker. At the same time, I would add something particular for the target that who we are. One thing is about I'm a solo traveler and I'm going to have an amazing holiday in Bali. Then it's fine to connect with other travelers. But if you're going to work remotely, most of your day will be filled by whatever you do. And so having a connection from a professional point of view might actually make a lot of sense and could be useful. So mixing a little bit the professional with the personal, I think that's where it works quite well. And that's why I think it's important when you're digital nomad around the world.
It makes sense. I totally agree. So main point is to avoid loneliness. And then from a professional point of view, it's always better to have a high quality network that will lead clients or projects at some point. And also the network is very important to help or advise whatever the topic or the issues we might have. So it's very priceless indeed. How to network when we are constantly moving from a destination to another one?
You know what? I figure that, so I've been using different ways to do that. So first of all, I haven't been really moving super frequently. So I usually sometimes I do this 2 weeks kind of trip and remotely work and discover some cities. But most of the time I would say it's 2-3 months. So it's constantly, but it's not like crazy constant. It's not like every week, because that would make it working kind of almost impossible. Depends on the type of work you do, but new vaccines. Let's take an example that talks around the period where we are at. And there are many scientists that could join. Definitely those scientists who are capable of paying the trip to San Francisco. But there's so many other scientists that are completely disconnected because they cannot afford to go. So I believe that virtual connection, virtual events, virtual communities can actually help to include those people who cannot participate. Definitely a key element of networking. The second one, which goes together, is what I call karma. So when you do networking, especially professional networking, people have a feeling that professional networking is kind of dirt because you're basically going after to build a network to exploit it. And that's why people felt bad about it. It's like I was watching an interesting masterclass about selling. And when people think about somebody, a seller, a commercial person, a seller, and they have to picture the person, they think about the guy who is trying to sell you a used car and he's trying to rip you off. Okay, because we have that weird association that selling is about, basically taking advantage of the other person. And I think it's the same with networking, and we should change the flip of the coin, because the way networking works is curiosity and you want to help the other person. You want to understand what they're doing, and you're trying to connect maybe with your network and see if that network can help them. And these are really the two pillars for successful networking. And if you look at all the most successful businessmen, they're actually those who connect and do not look for a short-term gain. They're looking to build relationship. And you cannot build a relationship with 10,000 people. You build a relationship with few selected people who share your same values. And when you find that, you help each other. And I think that is the two most important things that you could do for networking.
That's very, very relevant. I totally agree. Actually, you are networking. You are not selling anything. You are just trying to discover, to meet new people, share your insights and listen to their insights. It's more like yet an experience, actually. You share with someone else, and then maybe later it will lead to some common projects or business opportunities. But we never know. As you say, it's a karma also.
Yeah, it's a karma approach. And it comes naturally.
Yeah, it has to come naturally. Yes. What would be the tools? So we've already mentioned some platforms. So what would be the tools and platforms to network as a digital nomad?
There are, like we said, like chat platform, like WhatsApp, Telegram, these groups that you create that you can join and people chat about specific topics, ask questions. It's great. Facebook group are definitely a very good way. And I would say LinkedIn groups are not really used. The problem that I found, and this is why we started Diginomads, the problem is that all these platforms are not made for people that you don't know. Think about it. Let's say Slack, let's say WhatsApp. They're not made to connect. They're not made for a group of people who do not know each other. Usually they're made for people who know already each other and need to chat and exchange, right? And so whenever you start launching a large group, it can become very messy. And also there's no information about who these people are. You basically have a photo and a number or a name, on Slack. So it says, basically, when you do network, you would like to know, hey, within this community, within this group, with whom I should talk to, because maybe they like surfing like me, or maybe because they're in the same biotechnology industry like me, or maybe because they want to start a company. I've already done it, so I can help them. So that part, it was really missing. And, even in the Facebook group, I remember the reason why we started this Diginomads is because we were seeing, me and my roommates, so we had a co-living world in Coralejo in Fuerteventura. And we were seeing people posting on the Facebook group, say, hey, I'm a digital marketing, who is in the same field? And then I said, but you know what, I think we can help with that. And so we implemented with Loungy a new network, which is this Diginomad. And the goal is really to connect people based on their professional goals. So it's a complement of what is existing already.
This is very, very inspiring. Let's talk a bit now about the communication part. How to stay connected with your virtual network.
Yeah. And I think I'll go back to answer this question to what I said. What are the tips of networking? Which is basic curiosity, helping each other, connecting each other. I think the most effective way to stay connected with your network is actually to connect your network. So let me give you an example. If I meet 20 people tomorrow, the best thing I can do to stay connected with them is actually tell them other people that they should connect with that I know. So it's basically making intros. It's super simple, but you need one requirement is needed, which is curiosity. You need to understand the other person. You need to remember in your mind who that person is, what they want to achieve, and then you connect them. If you do that, 100% they will remember you. And 100% they will stay in touch with you, and 100% they might do the same to you. And so it's about creating this richness of connection. And again, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And so this is probably the best way to, I would say, to maintain and keep your network alive. Another way is also to you're reading something and you remember, I'm reading about something about digital nomading and marketing. And then I remember that you, Andy, you're working in that, you're writing about that topic, you have a marketing agency. I said, I'll send that to Andy and I'll send you that article that I read. And I thought about you. That is a great way to stay connected with your network.
Thanks for sharing. And I also think that on top of that, it's important to improve your online self-branding also to be seen, because it's important to share your expertise on social media. Maybe if you have time, also create a blog to make sure that people also know about you, know what you do, what you are going to. This might help actually to sustain the relationship with your network. This is also one of the ways in terms of communication. One of the last questions now, how to measure, if there is a way, to someone's performance as a virtual networker? Is it possible? This is maybe a naive question, but I have to ask it.
It's a very interesting question. I am not sure I have an answer, but so how to measure? It's true that let's say that if you write, like you have a blog and you're writing, an easy way to perform, and maybe when you network, you talk about your blog, then you see how many people are reading. Okay, that's a classical way of understanding if people are interested about you. But I think as a performance, as a virtual networker, which is basically meeting people and connecting people, I would say is how many people reach out to you and introduce you to other people. That would be the best way to measure, because that's basically the karma. You're giving this connectivity around, you're helping people, and then people help you and say, hey, Giacomo, I met this guy, you should meet him. Boom. And I think that makes the person receiving that intro really feel appreciated and also remember. So if I have to say maybe a way as I evaluate my performance as a virtual networker, is probably how many intros are coming back to me. And again, it's part of this giving and receiving, giving and sharing without any final objective. It's just more for the pleasure of helping people.
This is very interesting. Thanks for sharing. And what would be the future of networking? Do you have any thoughts?
I believe that instead of having, so let's take a step back about, networking, social networks, professional networking. These platforms where the Facebook, the LinkedIn, without going to the Facebook dilemma and problems they have, but in general, they're focused on the people that you know. So they were created to connect you with your contacts, professional contacts, to maintain a connection, or with the people, your friends, Facebook, right? So, but they're missing something that is way beyond who you are. So basically, they're connecting based on who you are. And I believe that the future of networking is about connecting based on who you want to become. And I give you an example. If I want to change career, just connecting with the people I can be helped to reach that goal. So it's not who I am today, like on LinkedIn, but who I want to become. And because then the value is way bigger than connecting with my pals at the universities, all the alumni network that's great. But I want to connect with the people that are going to have an impact in my career, talking about professional networking. So I believe that there is this kind of a projective way in networking. It's not about who you are, but where you want to go, and connect based on that. And the second one, I believe in connecting within communities. We did an experiment back in the days, without going to the details, but what we have seen is that when people are part of a community, for example, the same school, they study in the same school, they were connecting and engaging between 3 to 4 times more than a flat network, like not based on community. So I believe that this networking based on goals and connecting these people within a community, which could be professional or not, for example, yoga fan, sports fan, or I like to do this, I want to become that. And you create communities and you help each other to connect. You help those people to connect. I think that's probably the future of networking, if I have to bet.
It's very inspiring. Great to hear that we are only at the early stage of virtual networking, and the best is yet to come.
I think so. I think we have to hope for that, because I don't think we're going in the right direction with the current ways.
Totally agree. Thank you very much, Giacomo, for this inspiring chat and for your insights. It's very much appreciated.
Andy, a pleasure, and I hope to see you somewhere, maybe in Georgia, who knows, or maybe come over to the Canary Islands.
Likewise, all the best to you and to DG Nomads. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.